Hello, gente linda. Gente linda means beautiful people in Spanish. I am Nelly C. My goal for my YouTube channel is to study the topics for the licensed clinical social worker exam together and share this material with someone who may need it. First, I would like to share a quote to continue to be inspired and motivated to carry on with this journey. Second, we will review together the content outline of the examination guidebook for the LCSW exam. Third, I'm going to speak Spanish for my people in Ecuador who speak Spanish. I'm going to tell mi gente linda that they can translate the videos into Spanish using the Siri feature and subtitles on YouTube. Si estás escuchando este video y quieres traducirlo en español, puedes usar la opción de subtítulos y cambiar el lenguaje en español en los videos de YouTube. And finally, let me thank you for taking the time to listen to this video. If you would like to receive an alert when I upload a video, please subscribe. And don't forget to like this video so we can all maximize the gift of the technology of this time. Adios, mi gente linda, and many blessings. And there is another nice quote at the end of this video if you decided to watch this video by the end. So here, let's see, let's go to the nice quote. I believe that if life gives you lemons, you should make lemonade and try to find somebody whose life has given them vodka and have a party. That's what we are doing here with this YouTube channel. So the clinical exam content outline taken from the examination guide, and this is actually the version for January 24 from the Association of Social Work Boards. So as we know, the first part is human development, diversity, and behavior in the environment. This is the 24% of the exam. And then it breaks down in human growth and development. We had a theory of human development through the lifespan, the indicator of normal, abnormal, physical, cognitive, emotional, and sexual development through the lifespan, theory of sexual development through the lifespan, theory of spiritual development through the lifespan, theory of racial, ethnic, cultural development through the lifespan, the effect of physical, mental, and cognitive disability through the lifespan, the interplay of biological and psychological, social, and spiritual factors, basic human needs, the principles of attachment and bounding, the effect of aging on biosocial functioning, gerontology, personality theories, factors influencing self-image, body image and his impact, parenting skills, capacities, basic principle of human genetics, the family life cycle, model of family life education and social work practice, the impact of aging parents on adult children, systems and ecological perspective and theory, strength and base and resilience theories, the dynamics and effect of loss and separation and grief. And then we had the human behavior in social environment, person and environment pie theory. Then we had the family dynamic and functioning and the effects on individuals and families, groups, organizations, and community, the dynamic of interpersonal relationship, indicators and dynamic of abuse and neglect through the lifespan, the effect of physical, sexual, and psychological abuse on individuals, families, groups, and organizations and communities, the characteristic of perpetrator of abuse, neglect, and exploitation, the impact of stress, trauma, and violence, crisis intervention theories, the effect of poverty on individual families, groups, organization, and communities. Then we had the impact of the environment on individuals, families, groups, organizations, and communities. We're supposed to know about social and economic justice, theory of social change, and community development, the impact of social institutions on society, the impact of globalization in clients and client system, criminal justice system, the impact of home placement, theory of couples development, the impact of physical and mental illness on family dynamic, concurring disorders and conditions, the impact of caregivers on families, psychological defense mechanism and their effect on behaviors and relationships, addiction theories and concepts, the effect of addiction and substance abuse on individuals, families, groups, and organizations and community, the indicators of addiction and substance abuse, role theories, feminist theory, theory of group development, communication theories, and stylists and theories of conflict. Then we have diversity, social economic, justice, and oppression. The effect of disability on biosocial functioning through the lifespan, the effect of culture, race, and ethnicity on behaviors, aptitudes, and identity, the effect of discrimination and stereotypes on behaviors, attitudes, and identity, the influence of sexual orientation on behaviors, attitudes, and identity, the impact of transgender and transitioning process on behaviors, attitudes, identity, and relationship, systematic, institutionalized discrimination, the principles of the principle of culturally competent social work practice, sexual orientation concepts, gender and gender identity concepts. Ooh, that was only human development. And now we have assessment, diagnosis and treatment and planning. And this is the 30% of the exam. And we have biopsychosocial history and collateral data. The components of biopsychosocial assessment, techniques and instruments used to assess client and client system, type of information available from other sources, medical, psychological, legal, or school records, methods to obtain sensitive information, the principles of active listening and observation, the indicator of sexual dysfunction, symptoms of neurologic and organic disorder. Second topic or second area theme for the assessment is the assessment and diagnosis. We have the factors and processes used in problem formulation, methods of involving clients, client system, and problem identification, the components and functions of the mental status examination, methods to incorporate the results of psychological and educational tests into assessment, the indicator of psychosocial stress. I can see. Well, then we got the indicators of traumatic stress and violence, methods used to assess trauma, risk assessment methods, the indicator and risk factor of the clients, client systems, danger to self and others, methods to assess the clients, client systems, strengths, resources, and challenges, the indicators of motivation, resistance, and readiness to change. And then we have the methods to assess motivation, resistance, and readiness to change. Methods to assess the client system strengths, resources, and challenges. The indicator of motivation, resistance, and readiness to change. Method to assess motivation, resistance, and readiness to change. Method to assess the client system's communication skill. The indicator of client system strengths and challenges, methods to assess ego strengths, the use of the Diagnostic and Statistical of the American Psychiatric Association, the indicator of mental and emotional illness through the lifespan, biopsychosocial factors related to mental health, biopsychosocial responses to illness and disability, common psychotropic and non-psychotropic prescription, over-the-counter medication, and their side effects, the indicator of somatization, the indicator of fitness illness, PECSIC medical terminology, the indicators of behavioral dysfunction, placement, option based on asset level care, methods to assess organizational functioning, data collection analysis methods. And then we had the treatment planning. Methods to involve clients and client system in the intervention planning, cultural considerations and the creation of an intervention plan, the criteria used in the selection of intervention treatment modalities, the components of intervention, treatment, and services plans, theories of trauma-informed care, methods and approaches to trauma-informed care, the impact of immigration, refugee, or undocumented status on service delivery, methods to develop, review, implement crisis plan, discharge, aftercare, and follow-up planning, techniques used to evaluate a client systems progress, methods, techniques, and instruments used to evaluate social work practice, the principles and futures of objective and subjective data, basic and applied research design and methods to assess reliability and validity in social work research. Now we have the third topic. Oof, we do have a lot of material to study. Psychotherapy, clinical intervention, and case management. This is the 20% of the exam. And then we have the therapeutic relationship, the components of the social worker, client system relationship, the principles and techniques for building and maintaining a helping relationship, the dynamic of power and transparency in the social worker client system relationship, the social worker's role in the problem solving process, methods to clarify the roles and responsibility of the social worker and client system in the intervention process, the concept of acceptance and empathy in the social worker client system relationship, the dynamic of diversity in the social worker client system relationship, the effect of the client's development level on the social worker's client's relationship, the impact of domestic, intimate partner, and other violence on the helping relationship, verbal and non-verbal communication techniques, the concept of congruence in communication, methods to obtain and provide feedback. Then we have the intervention process, the principle and techniques of interviewing. Okay, then we have some examples regarding that. The phases of intervention and treatment, problem-solving models and approaches, the client system role in the problem-solving, methods to engage and motivate client system, methods to engage and work with involuntary clients, client system, limit setting techniques, the technique of role play, role modeling techniques, techniques for harm reduction for self and others, methods to teach coping and other self-care skills to clients and client system. Client system self-monitoring techniques methods of conflict resolution, crisis intervention and treatment approaches, anger management techniques, stress management techniques, the impact of out-home displacement, method to create, implement, and evaluate policies, procedures that minimize risk for individuals, families, groups, organizations, and communities, psychotherapies, psychoanalytic and psychodynamic approaches, cognitive and behavioral interventions, strengths-based and empowerment strategies and intervention, client and client system contracting and goal-setting techniques, partializing techniques, assertiveness training centered approach, psychoeducation methods, acknowledging, supporting, and normalizing. Okay, we're almost there. So now let's see. Let's continue. Group work techniques, approaches, group work techniques and approaches, family therapist models, interventions and approaches, couples intervention and treatment approaches, permanence in planning, mindfulness and complementary therapeutic approaches, techniques used for follow-up, time management approaches, community organizing and social planning methods to develop and evaluate measurable objectives for client system, treatment and service plan, primary, secondary, and tertiary prevention strategies. The indicator of client system, readiness for termination, and we have here, I can see, service, delivery, and management of cases, the effect of policies, procedures, regulations, and legislation on social work practice and services delivery, the impact of the political and environmental policy making, theories and methods of advocacy for policies, services, and resources to meet clients and client system, methods of service delivery, the components of case management, the principle of case recording, documentation, and management of practice record, methods to establish services, network, or community resources, employee recruitment, training, retention, performance appraisal, evaluation, and discipline, case recording for practice evaluation and supervision, methods let's see, to evaluate agency programs, the effects of program evaluation, finding on services, quality assurance, including program reviews, audits by external source. And then we have consultation and interdisciplinary collaboration. And we have leadership, management techniques, model of supervision, consultation, educational components, techniques and methods of supervision. Then we have the supervisory role in supervision. Can see, sorry. Okay, so yeah, and then it gives an example in identifying learning needs, self-assessment, prioritizing, etc. Methods to identify learning needs and develop learning objectives for supervisees. The elements of client and client system reports, the elements of a case presentation, the principles and processes for developing formal documents, consultation approaches, methods of networking, the process of interdisciplinary and interdisciplinary team collaboration, the basic terminology of professions and others than social work, techniques to inform and influence organizational and social policy, methods to assess the ability of community resources, techniques for mobilizing community participation, method to establish program objectives and outcome, governance structures, the relationship between formal and informal power, structure in the decision-making process, accreditation or licensing requirement. And then we have the professional values and ethics, which in our clinical exam, it is the 19% of the exam. And we have professional values and ethical issues. The first topic is legal and ethical issues related to the practice of social work, including responsibility to clients, client system, colleagues, the profession, and society. Techniques to identify and resolve ethical dilemmas. The client system drive to refuse services, professional boundaries in the social work client system relationship, ethical issues related to dual relationship, self-disclosure principle and applications, the principle and processes of obtaining informed consent, legal or ethical issues regarding documentation, legal and ethical issues regarding termination, legal and ethical issues related to death and dying, research ethics, ethical issues in supervision and management, methods to create, implement, evaluate policies and procedures for social worker safety. Then we have confidentiality. In confidentiality, we have the use of clients and client system records, legal or ethical issues regarding confidentiality, including electronic information security, legal and or ethical issues regarding reporting, mandatory reporting. So it's legal and ethical issues regarding mandatory reporting. And then we have the final area, which I believe is professional development and use of self, professional values and principles, professional objectivity and the social work or social worker client and client system relationship, techniques for protecting and enhancing client and client system determination, client and client system components and self-determination, the influence of social workers on values and belief on interdisciplinary collaboration, the influence of the social workers on values and belief on interdisciplinary collaboration. Okay, it's the same. The impact of transference and counter-transference in the social worker client system relationship, the component of a safe and positive work environment, social worker self-care principle and techniques, burnout, secondary trauma, compassion fatigue. And then we have professional development activities to improve practice and maintain career professional knowledge. And we have a summary. Thank God we are in the summary part. Okay, so in the human development, diversity, and behavior in the environment, we had three main topics, which is the human growth and development, human behavior in the social environment, diversity and discrimination. The assessment also has three main topics, is the biosocial and history and collateral data, assessment, diagnosis, treatment planning. And then we had the psychotherapy, clinical intervention, case management. And then we had the 1, 2, 3, 4 topics, which is the therapeutic relationship, the intervention process, service delivery and management of case, consultation and interdisciplinary collaboration. And finally, we had the professional values and ethics, professional values and ethical issues, confidentiality, and the professional development and use of self. And this is our last Quote, because of you, I can feel myself slowly but surely becoming the me I have always dreaming of being. Thank you if you stay with me with this video. I appreciate your time and God bless you.